All right, folks, welcome to the runningrestaurants.com podcast. We're bringing the tips, tools, and techniques you need to make your restaurant more profitable and successful. I'm your host, Jaime Oikle. Today, got a great episode for you. I got two guys on, Jose Albis, co-founder and CGO, and Gordon Paterson, co-founder and CEO of Dynpricing.ai. So going to be a good topic, not something we've talked about before on the show. So Gordon, big picture, top level overview of what you guys do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Jamie, thanks for having us on the show. We're super excited. Yeah, that's great. So Dynpricing essentially is a monthly SaaS subscription software that we built to help restaurants be profitable on third-party delivery platforms. Look, before the pandemic, there were third-party delivery, apps out there. Restaurants use them, but the pandemic hit, everything changed, right? All of a sudden, third-party delivery platforms like Uber Eats and DoorDash just they actually saved a lot of restaurants.
Yep.
And over time, they became necessary for restaurants to run their business even post-pandemic. But the problem here, Jamie, is that I don't have to tell you or your audience that margins are thin, and margins are even thinner on these platforms, and these fees can really dig in to their margins. And so Jose Albis, my co-founder here, and I decided to build a monthly solution that really helped restaurants be profitable on these channels. In our experience, restaurants have difficulty managing these channels effectively and really sort of turning a profit, and they're just sort of spinning their wheels. But the fact of the matter is that these platforms are still bringing in revenue for restaurants. And so we wanted to help restaurants make money on these platforms. So what is Dynpricing? Dynpricing is a variable pricing solution for restaurants on these platforms. And essentially what we do is we affect pricing on these platforms during peak hours and off-peak hours. So what does that mean? That really means that when your restaurant is slammed to the gills, you're having trouble servicing in-house guests, and your kitchen is at capacity, what we do is we increase prices incrementally on, say, Uber Eats and DoorDash. And what that does is not only does it increase your profitability, but it also turns a few customers away in order to really offset that maximized kitchen capacity, enabling restaurants to serve their customers in-house better, enabling their staff to not be so overwhelmed, right? And on the flip side of that, Jamie, is what we do is we drop prices during a restaurant's off-peak hours. We do this all automatically, right? This is through software. This is through artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms that Jose can talk a lot more in depth about the technical stuff than I can. But during off-peak hours, we automatically drop prices to a point where we drive transactions during really slow periods. And so essentially what we're doing, a really high level view, is we're offsetting those peaks and those valleys that restaurants tend to go through throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the quarter. And we really have a motive here to help restaurants. I don't know. I can talk about this stuff forever and ever and ever. Jose, why don't you help me out here and jump in and fill in the gaps?
Ready to chime in. So one of the main things that restaurants do when they're overwhelmed is that they turn off these channels, and which at the end of the day, it's going to have the same effect. You're not going to get business from it. So why not instead deter some of them and increase the profit that you make on them just during this time? And then on the flip side, like Gord was saying, there's always a pool of people that order through these apps, and especially during these off-peak hours. Now, the interesting thing call it because of their schedule, because of their habit, because they're doing intermittent fasting, whatever. The reality is that there is people that order during off-peak hours, and if you see the pool of people that make these orders, they usually have more time, and they actually browse around. Like any user goes to an app, and let's say you put Indian, and it's going to come up with the restaurant, the Indian restaurants that you like, or and then a few that you may have not. So most likely there's the highest chance possible where someone may compare prices between products and either choose the same one that they love because they love it so much, or give the other one a try. So that's where the opportunity comes. And as you can imagine, clearly this is all about elasticity. This is all about the variables that come into play in economics, and most importantly, load balancing the workload in the kitchen, front of house, back of house, and then smoothing the operations so that you can have better results, but also a predictability, and most importantly, the quality of the service that you are delivering in the restaurant.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. I want to come back to a number of those points in a few minutes. Real quick, give me a little background on both of you. Why are we even talking about restaurants? How are you in the tech space? How did we get from history to where we are today? One of you kick it off.
Well, I was born in Colombia.
Not that far back, Jose.
Not
Come on.
that far back. So I've been in the tech space since I can remember, and I'm talking 2 decades. And at some point in one of the tech startups that I was working with, and I was actually consulting for a good friend of mine, that showed me this app to order from the phone, order food, and I was like, well, that's interesting. And then he kept talking about it, and finally I said, okay, I'm gonna help you to promote it. And I really didn't understand what it was, because I was approached by a lot of people. I have an idea. You build the app because you build apps. Let's go 50-50. And I would have a lot of meetings like that.
Yep.
Because of the idea 50-50. And anyway, at some point I finally paid attention, and I realized what he was trying to talk to me about, that he wanted me to help him promote it. And it was an online ordering solution. So with my tech startup enthusiasm, I basically said, you know what, we can actually build a startup with this, think a little bit bigger than just promoting this app. Let's recreate it and build something much more powerful. And that's how modern online ordering came to be. This is 2016. And, at that point, we were educating the restaurateur to really pay attention to online ordering. Right. And that was the sales process was, hey, look, this is an extra channel of revenue for you. It represents your brand. You can do all these fancy things, give promos, discounts, things, and all this stuff. And they would not pay attention. Just like restaurants, as you know, they all got their Facebook page because everybody had it. And someone told them, you need to have it. It's already there. You just need to claim it. So, it was an uphill battle, but we would get traction and we would get sales and everything else. But then the pandemic hit, right? Again, similar. That was another area of the online ordering that exploded with the pandemic is third party, because they were already really well positioned, but then also first party online ordering, like modern online ordering is. So we got super busy. I couldn't. We was, of course, huge growth, and I called. Actually, I think Gord applied for a job, and as soon as I saw the numbers, like you come up, and I hook him in. So we started working together on the marketing and growth department, and then as part of his great ideas was to come up with start a podcast, and the podcast, the Restaurant Growth Show, was one of the things that we started there. Through the content and being deep in the industry, we started to talk about dynamic pricing ourselves. And then one day, when Gord decided to move on from modern, I followed later by his invitation to let's create something around AI. AI had just started. He also brought it into our operations at Modern early days, and then that's it. This is how we started Dynpricing.
Good, good. Thanks for walking us through that, Gordon. Just so you know, you got a co-star with you there. You got the dog in the background, so
Oh yes,
that's always welcome. So just let me know. We'll give credits later for that. But so it sounds like you guys got introduced, been working together closely. What else is in your background?
yeah. So sorry, was that for Jose or was that for
No,
me?
for you, Gordon.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so Jose and I have worked together on various tech startups for many years, or for over a decade. And I actually, that's really where I started in tech, was in marketing and SEO and those sorts of types of businesses. But then a few years ago I did work for Jose, and that was my first sort of experience with food tech and restaurant technology.
Yep.
And then just like he said, we were doing research for podcasts. Hey dog, hey, do you want to come and be on the show? Hey, come here. She's perfectly over my shoulder. This is great. I love it. Anyways, long story short, we're doing our research for a podcast episode, and dynamic pricing just kept coming up.
Yeah.
And I was really dumbfounded why it hadn't been adopted in the restaurant industry. And again, long story longer, I decided to build this product, and Jose Albis was my first phone call to come join me and build Dynpricing. So here we are.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. You asked the question, why doesn't this exist? And because it exists in hotels and airlines and cruises and other things that I'm sure you guys know more about than me. But we've all come to accept that the person in the hotel room next to us is paying a different price. The airline seat, vastly different price. And I mean vastly, like it could be just gigantic different pricing. But at the restaurant, we all expect to pay the same price. And that's just our expectation. Perhaps it's going to change. And I wasn't sure. We had only talked briefly before, and you referenced the third-party platforms, but I want to eventually ask you your future thoughts. Like, is it eventually going to make it into the sit-down part of our restaurant experience, and get into that? But obviously, you started with the digital part, and what is the consumer expectation? And you've already hit the word elasticity, Jose. Some people, they just don't care. I want a hamburger now. I don't care. $7, $10, $15. I don't care. I want it because I want it. And they order it. And other people are looking for the special $5 hamburger promo. Is that really the crux of it? A big part of it? What do you think, Jose?
Not exactly. First of all, you wouldn't see a change of price like you just did as an example, like going from 7 to 15. That would be incredibly
too much
shocking. Right, because you will remember that difference, but something that it's not life changing, something that it's not that impacting, and I think that if you think at the evolution of the dynamic pricing in the hotel and airline industry, maybe a lot of our use of your audience will remember when back in the day to try to get a discount, you would be 2 hours with a reservation center. And charming the woman or man that was on the other side, or complaining that something needed to be done because something happened, and then after 2 hours you would get a $50 discount, right, on an $800 ticket. Now that $800 ticket, you can actually get it for $300, for maybe $900. But the discounts that this has allowed the airline and hotel industry to offer are immense. Like, and everybody has learned, we've all changed our behavior. We've learned that on Tuesdays is better, that if you do it earlier is better, that you can take the risk at the last minute and get that $800 for $200 because I need to fill capacity. So what we're expecting is a similar adoption and behavioral change where we're all going to be adapt. But at the end of the day, like I was talking to our social media manager, and she didn't know any better than hotel and airlines with dynamic pricing, right? She's like, what do you mean that you had to call somewhere or speak to a human?
Get on the phone. Like, what was that?
Exactly. What is that? And the reality is that as technology gets adopted and we continue furthering into this new technology, we can see already a horizon full of opportunities, full of really incredible personalization, just the same way that they can do with you with this technology in airlines and hotels. So from our point of view, it's a very bright future. Yes, it's scary. Yes, yeah, for the consumer, the consumer, of course, it's scary because what it sounds, because what it comes there, and because a negative news just runs like wildfire. So what we know is that a lot of restaurants are missing out on opportunities, are
Yeah.
dying because of lack of profitability, and the end consumer also doesn't like their favorite restaurants to go under. So we're really positive about what's about to become. It's gonna take some time. Again, like with online ordering, it's gonna take a lot of education because that's the nature of the market. And when something new comes up, it's gonna be another uphill battle, but we're ready to climb it up.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. Yeah, I guess the example or the wild price swings is maybe too much, but I know that with price changes here, everywhere across the country, you would come in and the menu's been changed. Wow, man, that used to be $9.99 and now it's $12.99, and you're accepting that. And when you print something, it usually sits there for a little while, and so prices are changing. And so I'm curious about how much how much is imperceptible, or what is the differences that you might see to extract a little bit more revenue. How does that play out?
Like, let me go back to elasticity. And elasticity is a variable that it shows how sensible you are to a price change or a particular price level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that the answer is it varies. It depends on the type of cuisine. It depends on the power of the brand. Because if there is a brand that it's really powerful, and I tell you because we've tested it, but also even from the online ordering experience on its own, some brands can really have numbers, and it doesn't change at all because people love that food, because people love the service, and what we are poised to do here is to make it's not a blanket approach. It's all specific to items. It's specific to changes in the cost of foods. It's incremental changes that has more variables than just that. So so what it means is that depending on the brand, as the engine, let's say, has a feedback loop on what is happening in real time, then it will adapt. And that's not just on demand. Include local events, weather, seasonality, inflation, all these different variables that will also help guarantee that the ecosystem starts to regulate itself. And when I say the ecosystem, I mean the consumer, the restaurant, the suppliers, even the delivery drivers that are involved in this. So we are super positive that it will be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I saw one of the quotes on your site, or one of the things that I was going to ask you folks about, is it says, the system predicts local demand. So how is that local demand predicted? And you just mentioned a few factors, but what else, what goes into it?
Local demand, more like local events, right? So, for example, let's picture a chain where location one is downtown, location two, downtown and close to a stadium, and location two is in the suburbs. Location one has an opportunity to and a responsibility to keep the service level that they are expected to deliver when at any time, at any given time. And there's a flood of thousands of people coming out of the stadium that it's just a block away from this restaurant.
Right.
So that would be an opportunity for both keep the service level by deterring some clients, right? Or and remember, this is the third party. So the people that come to the restaurant, they can still have that good service because the kitchen is less overwhelmed with the third party delivery orders that they're still getting in. So that's what the principle here it's all about.
Yeah, gotcha. I do want to poke and prod at the future. It's because it sounds like it's not the case right now with what you're doing. But is it in the foreseeable future, folks that use a menu board, a lot of quick service places, there's not a printed menu, there's not a price that's always there. Those LED screens can change on the fly every day by meal time. Is that coming soon?
I'd say that it's hard to tell that soon what soon means, especially in this industry. But what I can tell you is that the progression would be from third party to first party online ordering,
Mm.
to then eventually, when we understand and there's more communication, because one of the pieces is that it's missing here is transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like, why didn't you let me know that I could have had this burger at 15-25% less if I waited just 5 more minutes?
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
So as the consolidation of let's say POS, which is the center of the universe for most restaurants, that integration is critical until something like that can be delivered. But the important part is the transparency, which comes with communication. So we are working on technology that is related to that. We will get there, and I think that's another horizon that it's still to be explored. But like I was saying before, it is very positive. I think that at some
Yeah.
point
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, listen, and the honest take is that, yeah, on a Friday night, to get into a place, I'm willing to pay more than a Wednesday night for the same meal. Because if I go to a place, it's not, the steak is $24 on both nights, but I'm willing to pay more for that Friday night experience, and so they're leaving money on the table. And so I think eventually it's gonna get to that point in time. And it just reminded me of the happy hour experience with it, because you rattled off the story. And sometimes, if you order at 6:59, you get one price, and you order at 7:01, you get a different price, and the customer's a little bit upset about that, right? The bill comes, hey, I thought I got my order in and got the $5 margarita, not the $10 margarita. And so I can see what you're saying. That can lead to a lot of issues. And I think technology will solve some of this stuff down the line. But Gordon, let me go to you for a second. In the podcast that you guys do, what are you hearing out there about related to what you guys do? Industry trends. You guys interview a lot of folks. I think I saw up over 80 episodes. So tell me some fun stuff there.
Yeah, happy to. So the Restaurant Growth Show podcast we've been doing since, I would say late 2021. And it followed us from modern online ordering to when we decided to build Dynpricing. We've got just a wonderful array of experts and restaurant owners, from technology all the way down to your average mom and pop shop. We love all perspectives, and we just have a lot of fun talking shop with everyone, as I'm sure you do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a whole lot of different perspectives, but we just continue to learn about our industry. We continue to learn and do our best to provide valuable information, tips and tools, and just perspectives for our audience. So we've just had such a blast doing the Restaurant Growth Show. And yeah, we've just completed episode 81, and we're looking to have 100 episodes by the end of 2024. So yeah,
Good.
just a lot of fun doing the podcast.
Good. So make sure people get over there and check it out. The other thing I saw on the site, I didn't notice until today, so I didn't dig in. So you can tell me what it's about. It's Strategy Academies. Is that same thing? Just is that blog post content? What you got?
Yeah, the Strategy Academy is education about pricing strategies and the psychology of pricing your menu.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of touching on what Jose was talking about in terms of elasticity. Look, the psychology of the average person who logs into Uber Eats, they're expecting prices to be variable. They're expecting prices to be changing, not unlike when you're driving by your local gas station. What's the price today? And I do realize that we're in a very, very, very price sensitive economy currently. But that has been that way for many years, and consumer behavior has changed around that. And it's the same with third-party delivery. When someone goes and they're looking for their favorite, Mexican dish or Thai food or what have you, the prices on those menus have always been changing, to be honest, with different fees, with different localities, with different delivery times. All of these things are changing prices. And so what we're showing restaurants is that they're able to access additional transactions and increase their profitability incrementally over time, using dynamic pricing and variable pricing through Dynpricing.ai. And so back to your original question, the Strategy Academy is just that. It's analyzing price elasticity and the psychology of creating a menu in the online space.
Excellent. I was going to look for it. Yes, hold on. Here we go.
Oh, he's bringing out the literature.
Let's give a shout out to Jason, who connected, because I see his book in your background, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jason's the one that connected us. So appreciate you. Every leader needs followers. Jason Brooks, good stuff. Check out his content. Anything in closing, Jose? Anything we didn't hit that you'd like to kind of bring into as a kind of summarization point?
Okay, maybe another layer of the nerdiness here, just to geek out, is that one thing to consider is that every third party is different, and the user of each of these is different. Meaning that at the most basic is that not all restaurants are in all apps. Therefore, your competitor in one will be different than the other. The demand that will happen in one will be different than the other, right? So all of these variables, can you imagine a restaurateur spending all day, or having someone spending multiple hours a day measuring, monitoring what could be done and changing, updating? Like it's an incredible amount of work.
Sure.
And so instead of having, I would tell you this actually, instead of having to hire a consultant to help you with managing profits in a menu, to update them, do an analysis of cost of goods and all these different things that takes hours, and then spreadsheets, and then, okay, let's do this, you approve and you go. Why not leave that to Dynpricing, solutions like Dynpricing that will do it all day long without having you to worry about or waste any time or effort in making successful changes to your menu.
Yeah. Well said. Gordon, on your side, hit us with websites, socials, anything else you guys got going on, any last parting thoughts, wisdom, etc.
Yeah, I don't know about wisdom, Jamie, but I can definitely drop our website and our social handles. Dynpricing.ai. You guys can find us on our website, dynpricing.ai. All of our social handles are Dynpricing. Facebook, we're really active on LinkedIn. Please reach out to us there. TikTok, Facebook, all of the Instagram.
Twitter.
All of the socials. So Twitter as well. And we do love content. We love pushing out, our podcast content along with short clips, as well as, short videos. So please do reach out to us, Dynpricing.ai.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we did good. I think we had a lot. Appreciate you both. Good stuff there. All right, folks. Jose Albis and Gordon Paterson of Dynpricing. You can find them on the web at dynpricing.ai for more great restaurant marketing, service people, tech tips, etc. Stay tuned to us here at runningrestaurants.com. In the meantime, do me a favor, wherever you're watching this or listening, like us, subscribe to us, review us, rate us. All that stuff is very helpful, and we appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jamie. Thank you, everyone.